Hey guys, welcome back to another video on Become Better. Today we're gonna talk all about the topic timing, and also the topic of age as well, because I think this is a really important topic to kind of talk about and speak about in this episode. Because a lot of people in like our sort of day and age, they sort of think that like, oh, if I'm a certain age, I need to accomplish a certain thing or a certain goal or a certain achievement, and that is just like not sort of the right thing to sort of do. I think like at any age in life, I think like you should never like you should set goals every year, but you shouldn't set like a standard of like, oh, by 30 I need to accomplish this and that and have a house and have a family and things like that, because I think like at the end of the day everyone in life is sort of on their own journey. And I think like also just sort of like if you're sort of putting on that pressure of, oh, by the age of 30 I need to do this, that and the other, then if you get to that age and you still haven't accomplished that, it's sort of like saying to yourself, oh no, it's sort of saying, like, oh no, I haven't achieved that thing, and then it makes you like put yourself down and stuff. But I think like, you know, at the end of the day, age is just a number. It's basically just like how many years of experience you have on this earth, technically, if you really think about it, like realistically. And I think like, you know, just because you've had X amount of years on this earth living, it doesn't mean that you should be at a certain point in your life. You should sort of just enjoy life, take it step by step, sort of try your best, and whatever happens, happens. Try and let things flow as like naturally as possible. I think that's the other thing in life, is sort of like, if you try and let things like flow naturally, it sort of just happens. Never try and force anything in life, you know, things happen for a reason, and for, you know, if something's meant to be at a certain time, it will find its way to you. But I also think, you know, you do have to work for things, you need to work hard, you need to like make a living and earn an income, and, you know, get a good job that has good pay to like pay for things and things like that. I do think that, you know, having, you know, a good stable job and, you know, people you trust, and building like good friendships and building good relationships, I think, you know, that definitely helps in the grand scheme of things. And just being happy, I think like most people in life, they want to be happy, you know, they want to be happy and fulfilled and do something they love. And so, you know, not every day is going to be the best day. Some days are going to be better than other days, and vice versa. And that's just everyone's part of life. I think everyone, you know, everyone really has sort of like a time frame for things, and everyone has, you know, like a really good, like, positive outlook on life, and, you know, having time frames on things. You know, I want to accomplish this by this date, you know, in years, you know, like set like yearly accomplishments. It's really good, because when you do accomplish those things, you can pat yourself on the back. But it's also like, once you accomplish something, it's like, okay, what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next thing? And I think, you know, yeah, it gets to the point where, like, you know, after you accomplish so much, it's sort of like saying to yourself, okay, I've accomplished this much, but what's the next thing and the next thing? And sometimes you have to take a step back and look and think to yourself, like, wow, I have accomplished all these achievements that I wanted to accomplish this year. And then it's sort of like setting goals for the next year. Like, sometimes you can set goals like yearly, and then obviously just take day by day as it comes. Like, if you're thinking about, oh, what I'm going to do in 5 years from now, like, you're probably going to get overwhelmed and stressed. Sort of like things just sort of happen naturally, and sort of like whatever's meant to be, whatever like meant for you at that, whatever's meant for you won't ever miss you. I definitely believe that 100%. Like, whatever's meant for you won't ever miss you. And if it did miss you, it will end up coming back to you. So yeah, whatever's meant to be will be. 100%, I believe in that wholeheartedly and wholly. And yeah, I think when it comes to timing in life, timing is so important, you know. it really is like the building force of what builds good friendships and relationships, and, you know, being in the right place and things like that. It really is really, really good to make sure things are the right time, because there's a timing for everything, you know. There's a timing for love, a timing for relationships, a timing for friendships. Some friendships last a lifetime, others last half a lifetime, others last a few months, and yeah, if it's something that's really meant to be, it will end up finding you again. And I think that's the most important thing that we have to remember to ourselves. But yeah, never ever, please if you're watching this, never ever put like a limit on like your age, sort of like what you want to do and things like that. Because I think at the end of the day, sort of, you know, if something's meant for you, it will come back to you. And also just like, you know, if you're like putting, like, just please never put like any pressure on yourself and sort of like I'm 21 and I should be doing this, that and the other, because at the end of the day, you know, you've just got to do your own life path. Everyone's on their life journey, and, you know, you're on your road, you cross paths with people. Some people stay, some people leave. Some people you cross paths with and you want them to stay and then they leave. But I think, you know, you're on your own path in life, in your own journey, and you should never, ever, ever, ever compare your journey to someone else's journey, because we're all on our own journeys in life, and, you know, we all have a destination that we will end up, and you don't know where you're going to end up until it happens later down the line, and if you take it day by day, one day you'll end up somewhere and you'll be like, oh, and you don't really know like where you'll end up. But like this time, like 5 years ago, I didn't know what I'd be doing as a job, because I was still in school, still in college, and now I'm working. So it's sort of like that, you know, whatever's meant for you will find you. And it's sort of like, don't compare yourself to others, like, oh, I'm 21 and she's 21, like she's moved out and I'm still living at my parents'. Like, please don't ever compare yourself like that. Just because like you're 21 and you're still living at home, for example, it doesn't mean that you're a failure, it doesn't mean that you're like not good enough, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean anything. It basically just means that it might not be your time to move out, and your timing to move out might come later in life. And and that's the thing, what I'm trying to say is everyone's on their own journey in life, and, you know, just because you're on one journey and someone else is on a different journey and you're doing different things and you're the same age, it doesn't really mean anything, really. It just means that you're on your separate paths and your separate lives and you're all going different directions, and that doesn't necessarily mean anything badly. It basically just means that you're on different paths and different lives, and you're on different life paths, and, you know, like, for example, like, you could have like 10 people who are 21, but they're all on different levels, you know. Someone could be 21 and they could be looking for a job. Someone could be 21 and they have a job, and it's stable and it's full time. Another 21-year-old could still be studying at university, and it's just and then someone else could be 21 and they're living on their own, you know, in their own house, and they have a full-time job to get by from, you know. So everyone's on their separate paths and separate journeys, and just don't ever compare yourself, please, because, you know, comparing yourself doesn't do any good. It just does you harm, and it just makes you feel not good enough, you know. And we should never compare ourselves ever, because we're all on our separate journeys in life, you know. We're all on our different time frames, and we're all on our different lives. You know, we're all on our different paths in life. We really, truly are. We're all on our different paths. And if we're all on different paths in life, you know, you should just never compare yourself, you know, because, you know, if you're comparing yourself, then it's just like, you know, you're all on different, you're on your own path. Like, why do you want to compare your path to someone else's path, your life to someone else's life? Like, you shouldn't do that, because that's just, it's not healthy to do that. And it's also, you know, because you're all on your different journeys, like, you don't want to compare your journey to someone else's journey. That's like sort of comparing, like, that's sort of like the same thing as like comparing like one train to another train, you know. They're both going their separate journeys, you know. They may look the same, you know, trains all look the same, but they're all going on their separate journeys. And life is a bit like a train journey, you know, and people hop on, people hop off. Some people stay for a season, and other people stay for your lifetime. You know, and that's just the part of life and part of the journey, and part of the human experience, you know. And everyone's experiencing different things. Everyone has different, like, pasts, and your past sort of shapes who you are as a person today. And a lot of people's pasts have to do with, like, what they're doing right now. You know, and as you grow up as a human, you sort of, you know, your parents raise you to be raised the correct way. And you've got to make sure that, you know, that you're raised the correct way and you're polite and understanding of people, because everyone's on their different, you know, journeys and paths in life. And I think that's what makes everyone so special and unique, is that no one is truly no one is you. So that's what makes you unique, and you should never put yourself down or doubt yourself. You know, everyone has self-doubt, but never put yourself down for being you, you know, because no one else can do what you do. And I think that's a gift. It truly is a gift, that no one can do what you do. And, you know, that's why you shouldn't compare yourself to others, because no one is you. You know, and you know, some people will love you for you, some people will hate you for you, and you know, you're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, you know, and that's just part of the human experience as well. So what I want you to get away from this video is just sort of, everyone's on their different life journey, and just because you're a certain age, it doesn't mean that you should have accomplished X, Y, and Z in any way, shape or form. You're on your own journey and your own path in life. And sort of like whatever you end up accomplishing is sort of, you know, is what you end up accomplishing. And you shouldn't ever put yourself down for it. You shouldn't ever say, oh, but this or that or that. And don't ever compare yourself to other people, because, like I've said, everyone has different experiences, everyone has different life experiences, and, you know, everyone's so different and unique, and you don't know what other people are going through. You don't know other people's struggles unless they open up and share about it, as well. And when people like open up and share about their experiences, then it kind of makes you feel less alone, because it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not the only one going through this, you know. And life is sort of, you know, everyone's doing the same thing, you know. They get up, have breakfast, go to work, come home, have dinner, go to bed. You know, we all have to shower, we all have to, like, go to the bathroom, you know, we're all human, we all do things like every other human does. So we're all on the same journey. Well, we're all on different journeys, but we're more similar than you realise. And I think you should understand that a bit more. And yeah. So yeah, just don't compare yourself, and everyone's on their different journeys, and you should celebrate your own journey, celebrate your own unique path and your own identity, and just honestly just celebrate yourself, because, like, you know, I think, like, people are so hard on themselves nowadays, and, like, you know, when you accomplish something, it's so easy to be like, oh, but whatever, X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, you know, it's sort of like, if you accomplish something, you should congratulate yourself, celebrate yourself, be in your own presence, and really, you know, take in what you've accomplished. And we all have improvements, you know, we're not all perfect. you know, we have imperfections and we have flaws and we have strengths and weaknesses. That's just all part of the human experience. Celebrate your strengths, work on your weaknesses, try and improve yourself as a person every single day. Every single day you're learning something new, you're growing as a person. There's no such thing as wasting time. So if you're truly doing something you really want to do, there's no such thing as wasting time if you want to do something. And please, if you have an idea and you want to do it, please don't ever say, oh, but I'm 21, I can't do this, or I'm too old to do something. Please don't ever say you're too old to do something, because you're never too old to do something, ever. If you want to do something, you do it. Please don't ever let age define what you want to do in life. Please don't ever let age see like, oh, but I'm 50, I can't dance, or I'm too young to do this, like, to do this new job. You know, if it's your passion or you want to do something and you have the resources to do it, I would definitely go out and do it, you know, because you won't regret it, you know. And it's better to do something like do something and sort of see what happens, instead of like living with regrets and being like, oh, I wish I did this and I wish I did that, because you only have one life and you've got to enjoy it while it lasts, and every opportunity, take it and roll with it. And if you want to do something really badly, please just go do it. Sometimes you just gotta say, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it anyways. Like, you're scared, but then you're gonna do it anyways. And yeah, like, if you want to do something, do it. Don't let age define your worth. Don't let age define your value. Don't let age define what you can and can't do, because age is just a number. It's just how many years you've experienced this journey on your life, and everyone's at different stages at different times, and there's always someone in a better place than you, always someone in a worse place than you. Not everyone knows what they're doing. A lot of people fake it. You know, I've asked lots of people, oh, do you know what you're doing with their life? A lot of people have said no. I think, like, we know what we're doing with our life to a certain extent, but then also another part of it is just, like, showing up and seeing what happens and going with the flow, and whatever the universe aligns with you is what is truly meant to be. So I'm going to leave that video there with you. I hope you've taken a lot of advice from this video, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts on this topic, because age, really, I just think age it's just a number. It's how many years you've experienced on this life, on this earth, and we shouldn't ever, you know, say, I'm this age, I can't do this, or I can do that. If you want to start a new hobby or goal or a passion, or you want to do something, just do it. Please don't let age stop you from doing what you want to do in life, because you only get one life, and once your life is over, you don't get, that's it. You know, we're all gonna die one day, so please just take life fully granted, and just live it, and be at peace, and try your best. And that's all we can do at the end of the day. As long as you try your best, that is all you can do. So yeah, thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you're a new viewer watching. Check out all my other videos, and I will see you guys next week for a brand new video. Bye!